Number 2, according to ACPA Code of Professional Conduct, in which of the following circumstances may a CPA serve on a company's board of directors? Very important question. Read the question once again. According to ACPA Code of Professional, in which of the following circumstances may a CPA serve on a company's board of directors? Number 1, A, the CPA audits a bank to which the company has applied for financing and the board approval is required for a said financing to occur. See something fishy? He audits a bank to which the company has applied for financing. Then CPA asked by the company to test the internal controls of the company and offers compensation to CPA for said services. You already knew who is responsible for the maintaining of internal control. And here is not going to maintain. The CPA is also come to test the internal controls and offers compensation to the CPA for such services. Okay, number C. The CPA does not audit the company and has no other business connection with the company. Coming very close to our requirement, then the CPA performs attestation services for a non-public company. So meaning, if he is having any role to play in a company, being an audit engagement, in that client company, he cannot serve as a board of director, then we'll have the conflict of interest. So the CPA audits the bank to which the company has applied for financing. He is auditing a bank in which he has applied for the loan. Probably he might go directly to the manager, ask him to allot the loan. So board approval is required. So in such case, he is having something to do by being in an audit engagement. So there is independence. Actually, Code of Professional Conduct, he cannot be a board of director because it will impair his independence. The CPA is asked by the company to test the internal controls. So testing the internal controls is no longer a part of auditor's job. So he cannot do testing internal control and be part of board of directors. No. Then the CPA does not audit the company and has no other business connection with the company. This seems to be a very clear route. He will not have any conflict of interest. He will not have his independence impaired. I feel it is C. Then we'll also go for the D1. The CPA performs attestation services for a non-public company. By doing some service and holding a board of directors company is not something good. So what I feel, and you also feel, C should be the right one. CPA does not audit the company and has no other business connection with the company. Yes, we are right. Then we'll go to 3. A pervasive characteristic of a CPA's role in a consulting service engagement is that of being objective advisor, independent practitioner, computer specialist, and confidential reviewer. A pervasive characteristic, meaning a generic. When you think about an auditor, a CPA who is doing an engagement, consulting service engagement, what sort of thing characteristic that you think of the CPA? A CPA is here, is going to do an audit engagement. He's also taking care of the tax and accounting, everything. What he is supposed to do? He's supposed to give you certain advice. He will be a role of taking an advisor. And he is an independent practitioner by himself. But a common characteristic of CPA's role in consulting services, what is that role? It could be a computer specialist, need not be. He can do an audit engagement with a manual records. Then confidential reviewer. There is nothing he is going to review. He is going to do an audit engagement. He can do one role for you being, he can advise you on a lot of accounting and financial matters and tax matters. So it should be a objective advisor. A pervasive characteristic, a generic common characteristic of CPA's role in a consulting service engagement is that of being an objective advisor. Correct. Then 4. According to professional standards, which of the following would be considered consulting services? Advisory, implementation, and product services. If he is going to do all the 3 services, does it come under consulting services? Then you can say only advisory and implementation are not product. Then advisory and product are not implementation. And then 4th one, advisory, not advisory, but both implementation and product. So what are all considered as a consulting services? You can just bifurcate as advisory. We already saw the objective advisor. He can do implementation services and product services. These are all consulting services. All the services like advisory, implementation, and product services, all are considered to be consulting services. This is what we saw in our topic. And let's say it's going to be A. right? Yes. Okay. Then, according to standards of the profession, which of the following events would require a CPA performing to consulting service engagement for a non-audit client to withdraw from the engagement? Just read the question once again. Which of the following events would require CPA perform consulting for a non-audit client to withdraw from the engagement? Meaning, he's already in the engagement, is going to withdraw. What are all the reasons could be? The CPA has a conflict of interest that is disclosed to the client, and the client consents to the CPA continuing the engagement. The CPA has a conflict that is disclosed. It's not just he has not disclosed, he has disclosed the client, and the client consents to the CPA continuing engagement. He said it's fine. We have no problem with you continuing after you have disclosed this particular interest. It doesn't, it is immaterial to us, something like for which they are given a consent saying continue with the engagement. Number two, the CPA fails to obtain a written understanding from the client concerning the scope of the engagement. See, in both second case also, he has not got a written understanding from the client concerning the scope. He should have got, but after getting into the engagement, probably he would have known what is its scope. He is already continuing the engagement. The reason for him to withdraw could be conflict of interest for which the client has already given the consent, and the CPA fails to obtain written understanding. In no way is going to affect his engagement because he's already in the engagement, he's already performing. Now, you need to say which one of these will have the reason to say that he is going to withdraw from the engagement. The first point is also he has disclosed his conflict of interest, but the client has accepted. Number one, it is clear. Then number two, the CPA fails to obtain a written understanding from the client concerning the scope. But having said fails to obtain a written understanding, he is already into the engagement. Now he would have known the scope of engagement. There is nothing clear here to say that he couldn't further continue his engagement. That is not the wording used. He has not got the written understanding, but he is already in the engagement. So either of these 2 points will make an auditor to withdraw from the engagement. We didn't feel it to be strong enough for him to withdraw from the engagement. So for me, neither of these points will make an auditor to withdraw from the engagement. So I will go with D, neither one nor two, because client knows about his interest, and though he has failed to get an understanding about the scope, he is already into the engagement. So we'll go with neither one or two. Yes, that's right.